doctors or medics are going to have to cope with technologies all the time. It's I suppose it's more to do with the way that that's incorporated within your course and the way those skills are developed.
Yeah, you're right in that you know doctors now compared to what doctors were doing 10 years ago, what they do now relies very much on technology. You know, it's not just on Holby City or Casualty that people are walking around with iPads looking at images or other palm type devices or laptops or computers like that. That's the reality of the system now. So it has changed massively. In terms of our digital or electronic technology approach to teaching and learning, we base everything that we do as much as we can around our virtual learning environment, which is currently Moodle. So the PBL cases, all of the material of the PBL cases, everything from the initial presentation to all of the case material and the results and various other things are available online for students. So hopefully when they get to the wards and they see people looking on computers for x-rays, it won't seem completely weird to them. We try as well, I would say 99% of the lecture material that the students are going to be accessing is available online in the VLE in advance. The clinical and communication skills sessions are supported by pre-recorded videos showing doctors or clinical skills trainers carrying out history taking or doing bits of formal examination formal physical examination with patients or mock patients in many cases. And we encourage students to look at those in advance and then come to the session well prepared. In terms of the more interactive form of electronic resources, we do have a range of anatomy and other types of teaching and learning packages that students can access, as well as those that we could send students off to look at, which are web-based packages that have been developed by other individuals. The course team here have developed some of their own packages, complete with elements of self-assessment. So if you want to learn a bit more about the anatomy of the abdomen, say, you can do the online learning package. You can stop, go back, go forward, click on things, identify what its function might be, and then at various points or at the end do a sort of formative test, if you like, of what you've learned and things like that. So that seems to be a sort of growing thing, and students really appreciate that sort of stuff.
So they're used alongside the PBL stuff, or?
It's mostly used alongside the anatomy lectures and the anatomy workshops that students go into. We would generally encourage them to, at the beginning of a systems-based module, have a look at the introductory packages and then roll them out as time goes on. And that's been a big effort from the anatomy team. One final thing to perhaps talk about is this sort of modern or the more recent development of lecture capture. Where podcasting and vodcasting of lectures, which is something which has been growing for a number of years, but here on GEM, and I believe that the university is moving in this direction much more. The general university is moving in this direction much more. We have a system for capturing the lectures when they're taking place, and that is a system. It depends upon which room you're in, exactly what flavour of that you get. But at the very least, it's the lecture slides being revealed and things being pointed to on screen at the same time as the lecturer is speaking. In some cases, it might also be video of the lecturer talking, which is not all that useful, I don't necessarily think, but it could be useful in some settings, say where you were doing a lecture which was much more a demonstration as much as a lecture. And students are able to It provides a fallback for students who, for whatever reason, can't make it to the lecture. And that's not often because they just choose not to go because it's going to be recorded anyway, because sometimes it doesn't work, and that's a big problem if it doesn't. But technology's like that, isn't it, unfortunately? Well, the real advantage for students is the ability to go to the lectures, recognising that it's probably likely to be recorded, or I can see it's being recorded. Okay, so I can actually focus on sitting and listening and trying to understand what's being said here, taking fewer notes, not frantically trying to write for 20 minutes then getting writer's cramp. And then it allows them to go back and not necessarily follow the whole lecture all the way through, but even dip into the lecture. I've got, I didn't take very many notes there, I wonder exactly what was being said, I can't quite remember. Go in, review it. And we find that students go in for about 5 or 10 minutes at a time and just recap and pick up on what they're doing. So that's a new development which obviously isn't without its problems, and it's not without its... There'll be people out there who would say, well, actually that's just an excuse for students to miss lectures, but our experience is that's not the reason why they use it. They use it as a support to help them to learn very effectively, either in time for exams or in order to support things they're going to learn in the next few weeks, say.